Hello, good afternoon, Halftime TV viewers and subscribers. Welcome to another episode. And today we'll be sharing our take on the Jamaica Football Federation and their decision to recall assistant coach to Coach Jaime Hallgrimson, or some may say the coach of the national under 20 team, John Wall. Before I go any further, however, remember, folks, check out the Halftime Show podcast. It's now available on Spotify, so you can check us out over there. If you don't get the chance to watch our YouTube videos, you can bounce on over to Spotify and you can listen it on all platforms that you will normally get your podcast. All right. So again, big up everyone. Big shout out to the returning residents here over at Halftime TV and the Jamaica Football Federation. They released a statement as well that we'll be reading. So last evening, Elite Sports they did a video indicating that John Wall, well, questioning whether John Wall was fired from the national under 20 team, and uh, this morning we got some update on the matter. And as I said, Halftime TV will only be sharing our take on the entire ordeal. We've heard from Rudolph Speed, we've heard from the Jamaica Football Federation on what basically transpired, and I think it's only fair that we just drop our 2 cents on it as well. If you're new to the channel, remember, smash the like button, subscribe to Halftime TV if you haven't yet done so, and please feel free as well to share your comments and your feedback down in the comment section below. All right, we will be covering the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Champs, so look out for that. We will start streaming probably next Thursday, I want to say. Yeah, next Thursday, and we'll go through to Saturday. Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Champs runs from the 19th up until the 23rd for those who aren't aware. So for the track and field content, stay tuned to Halftime TV as well, as we always do the live watch along, or the live streams where we bring you the updates, we keep you in the know on what's happening with the national track and field program. Big up yourself, Fresh God, big up yourself. And for those who have been wondering where we have been, please remember, um, there are so many commitments. There are so many commitments that we're trying to juggle right now. So hopefully we can get back to a space where we can consistently bring you content and we can consistently be delivering what you, our viewers and subscribers, are expecting. All right. So if I fall short sometime, forgive me. There's just so much that we're trying to work through, and hopefully we will get back to a better space sooner rather than later. Okay, so all right, so without further ado, oh, a big shout out to our sponsors as well, Quicklink Shipping. Anything you need shipped into the island, Quicklink Shipping has you covered. You see it on Amazon, you see it on eBay, you see it on Shein. Check out Quicklink Shipping. They have the best prices anywhere around town. All the best prices for things that you're shipping in the island. Okay, so Quicklink Shipping there, folks, on Facebook and on Instagram at Quicklink Shipping. All right, so we've we've done the full-on introduction. So let me get over to the statement that was released by the Jamaica Football Federation, and it reads: For immediate release, the Jamaica Football Federation has decided to recall Coach, what's his name? Give me a sec. Yeah, so for immediate release, the Jamaica Football Federation All right. So can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? I don't know what happened just now. We had some technicalities. But yeah. So basically, Jerome Waite will be taking over from John Wall as the coach of the under 20 program. All right. Now I have some information for you because uh, okay, good, good, good. Big up yourself, Jalo Harvey. I know it's your time of the year, uh, Trump's time of the year, so you're paying keen attention. But Jerome Waite, an article published in July, on July 1st, 2021, by Sportsmax, and this is me quoting what was written in the article. Jerome Waite um, by reassigned, and he will be replaced by Meron Garden. There is no word on where Jerome Waite will end up. And this is what was stated. And he was reassigned by the technical committee, which Rudolph Speed is the head of. So he was reassigned, and I put air quote in that. They didn't know where he would end up, but he was reassigned, and Meron Garden took over from him. And this was published in July 2021. There's no word on where he will end up. Okay. When Rudolph Speed was quizzed on this situation with Jerome Waite, because we, the viewers and the fans, we basically said it how it should have been said. Jerome Waite was fired. Rudolph Speed said he wasn't fired. So I don't understand what reassigned means because I didn't see him assume another position. All right. So Jerome Waite will be taking over from John Wall. The reasoning from Rudolph Speed this morning, for those who didn't hear, he did an interview on the Sports Explosion, and he was asked, why are we pulling John Wall at this such a crucial time? Because since he wasn't fired, he's been recalled, as they said. So they like recalled, reassigned. They like those terms, but again, it's not on me to decide. I'm not in those boardrooms. I'm not in those meetings. Just sharing or take on everything. All right. So John Wall doing his thing with the national under 20 team. Coach Jaime Holgrimson doing his thing with the senior team. The senior team has a ton load of fixtures coming up in the next couple of months. As a matter of fact, in the next week, what day are we? Probably in the next week or so. Next week, Thursday, I believe it is. Next week, Thursday, the 21st. So next week, the latter part of next week, the national team will be in action in the Nations League. Now, the Nations League, very big, big, big competition. We're looking to win it for the first time. Hopefully, we can get the job done on the ecstasy of what we did here in Toronto against the Canadian team last, what was it, November? I think the team is looking to build on that, and it's good momentum going into the World Cup qualifiers as well. So the Jamaica Football Federation, they're considering those things. I spoke with um, Mike Ricketts after the game against Canada, and he said this has got to be one of the greatest moments in Jamaica sporting football history. And he said one of the greatest moments. So tie it in with the girls going on to the round of 16, among others. So when he said one of the greatest moments, I said seriously, this is a big deal, and it's not only making it to the final round of the Nations League, but also qualifying for Copa, and Copa is in the summer this year. So when we get to June, we have Copa, or is it July? I think it's July. Don't remember. But June, July, thereabout, we have Copa. We also have the World Cup qualifiers in that period as well. I think the World Cup qualifiers June. Um, so yeah, we have some home and away games, etc. But the back end of the year, long story short, is going to be very busy. Now, my question becomes: is how imperative to the national team is John Wall? Because we're Jamaicans, we like talk about development. We like when we see young players going on and leaving their mark on the senior teams. Young Kaheem Dixon, we saw what he did. Dejan Richards, we saw what he did as well. We want to see more of these players coming through the ranks and leaving their mark on the national team. Then, good, we can agree to that. We like to see these players coming through and leaving their mark on the national team. But then there becomes a little bit of ambiguity, because while we love to see these young players coming through and leaving their mark on the national team, there's also some may say, um, the ambition of instant success. So we want our teams to be ready made, right? So we don't have the patience to wait on development. We don't have the patience to wait on 3, 4, 5 years for a program to start coming to fruition and for us to actually see what a coach is trying to do. As soon as the team loses a game or as soon as it doesn't look as pleasing, we're ready for another coach. And I think we've because of the club football that we've recently grown accustomed to. A lot of us have our respective clubs in the English Premier League or in Spanish League, where we're constantly begging for our teams to change coaches once it starts going downhill. However, when it comes to the development of players, we have to expect that these players, they're going to lose form, the teams are going to lose games, and it's not always going to be rosy at the helm. All right, so um big picture on everything that's happening. I hope you understand. So for those who are asking about development of players and if if Coach Wall is so important to the national team, then he probably, because he is a talent development official as well, then probably Jamaica should be focusing on developing the next crop of players to come through. Jamaica should be putting more energy into the under 20 squad to ensure that when the likes of Andre Blake and Damian Lowe and Mikel Antonio, when the likes of all these guys decide um, to move on or to hang up their boots, we have a good crop of players to take over. We have Demari Gray, we have Shamar Nicholson and Leon Bailey, who are in their 20s now, mind you, on the other side at 25. But we need to ensure that when the older players are coming out of the system, we have younger players who are transitioning into the system. All right. The under 20 program, I think it's very important because oftentimes those players coming out of the under 20 program, they are expected to form the core of the senior program. Saw that France team so many years ago, the same year Jamaica went to the under 20 World Cup. The France team, I think Pogba was a part of that team as well, and they went on to actually win the World Cup with a number of those players who played in the Under 20 World Cup. So pay attention to the Under 20 program, folks, because it's very important. And if John Wall is as important to Jamaican football program as it is stated that he is, then I would expect that the sensible thing to do was to leave him there, right? Was to leave him there. However, as I said, they said he's important to the senior team and the instant success as well. So we have to factor in um, Holgrim's in all of this because he's been given a job with an expiration date, and based on his job, his contract will be renewed or whatever contract negotiation that will happen behind the doors for Coach Jaime Hargrimson. They will be reliant on the results that he presents with the national team. All right, so all of those have to be considered. Whether or not he was fired from the under 20 program, we will never know. Coach Rudolph Speed, well, yeah, I said coach, well, he's a coach, but Rudolph Speed said he wasn't. Rudolph Speed said, as a matter of fact, he was not being paid for the under 20 program. He was hired as the assistant coach to Jaime Hargrimson, and as such, they decided that the workload for John Wall was too much, and as such, they decided to recall him to the senior program because obviously that's where the main focus lies for the Jamaica Football Federation. Again, the coach will be judged on merit based on what he did with the senior program. The mere fact that John Wall isn't even being paid for the under 20 program means the Jamaica Football Federation doesn't really factor in much into its conversations and its dialogue. But I think Jerome Waite being recalled, being recalled after being reassigned, Jerome Waite being recalled after being reassigned is something to keep an eye on. He's more than competent, more than capable of doing a job with the under 20 boys, and we'll keep an eye on that and see how it plays out. But Jerome Waite, he is responsible for the under 20 program for now. Okay. the next thing I want to talk about, and I have it here as well, something interesting that Rudolph Speed spoke about as well during the interview on Sports Explosion was the quota system. And I want to hear what you, the viewers and subscribers, have to say. So let me know what you think of the quota system in the comment section. I think personally, the quota system is, again, it's a double-edged sword in my opinion, and I'll explain why in a couple of minutes. But drop your thoughts in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the quota system that is currently in place in the Jamaican football structure? The quota system, something very, very interesting. And I think the explanation that Rudolph Speed provided shed a bit of light, but I'm not satisfied, and I think that's the take of many of the Jamaican fans and many of the local fans or local football fans as well. I think the quota system is one of those things where they would have never won, but it had to be done. I think based on the stakeholders, I remember the Jamaica Football Federation or the technical committee, they aren't the ones who make the decisions, it's the stakeholders, and they're far more stakeholders than you actually can think of. I think most of the times when we talk about the decisions that are being made in Jamaican football, we jump straight to the Jamaican Football Federation, which, again, most of the time they deserve the blunt of the blame. But a lot of the times as well, there are stakeholders behind the scene who have a loud voice in the decisions that are made and the direction that these decisions go in. So the stakeholder system, basically what the stakeholder, yep, not the stakeholder, the quota. The quota system. Basically, what the quota system says is that there's a set number of players who can be included in the, whether it's under 20 or the under 15 team, who weren't born in Jamaica. They don't have this in place for the senior team, and as such, you find that a number of foreign-based players are constantly being called for the senior team. However, for the under 20 and the under 15 program, for the under 20 program in particular, Rudolph Speed said the quota system is 7. So you can have 7 players who are not born in Jamaica as a part of the team. Now, he asked World Tracy what if he would be okay with having no Jamaican player in a 21 player squad to represent the under 20 team. World Tracy said that he was okay with it as long as it meant qualifying for the World Cup or what have you. I tend to differ. I tend to differ because I think the the formation of a squad, and you may say, hey, you want the best team out there all the time, and yes, you want your best team out there. You want your best 11 or your best 22 or your best 23, and most times that doesn't mean you have to have someone from Jamaica included in that squad. All right, but is it, if it boils down to a case where you don't have anybody from Jamaica included in the squad, what message are you sending then to the local players? What message are you sending to the youngsters who are growing up in Jamaica, who want to grow up and represent, who want to represent Jamaica, right? What's the message that's being sent? Because sometimes we just look on football as, okay, it's the 11 players on the field, that's a team, and it's all about winning. It's all about winning, winning at all costs. I know we want to win, but at what expense? And we've seen it with the senior team. We've seen the English-based players. They receive so many chastisement. They receive so many abuse from the fans. They're not welcomed, and this boils down to how it's been handled by both the JFF in the past and those scouting and recruiting players, those making the decision to put these squads together. Let me put it that way, because at the end of the day, when the Jamaican public or the Jamaican football fans, when they go to watch football, and we're saying, oh, we don't get any support at the national stadium, we don't. You think people are going to take up their hard-earned money, go to the national stadium to watch a team of 11 players or 21, a squad of 21 to 23 players, and they can't identify with any of those players because none of them are born in Jamaica? I don't think so. And I think, again, although we want to win, we have to look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is actually developing football in Jamaica. The bigger picture is actually ensuring that the passion and the fire for football among youngsters in Jamaica is maintained as well. Because if we are getting to the place where we want to win and we are adamant that winning at all costs is a sole goal and a sole intention, then I think we're missing out on what football actually means and what the ultimate idea behind football as a team sport is. All right, so that's my take. The quota system, 7 players, unless you can justify the addition of additional players, and this is 7 players born outside Jamaica. So unless you can justify the addition of more players born outside of Jamaica, then 7 is the cutoff point. And again, if you can justify, simply you can say, okay, the left back that we have, I don't think he's playing up to the level, and this is just for argument's sake. I don't think he's playing up to the level, or he sustained an injury. His injury. He's the best player we have now. However, he sustained an injury and he hasn't been the same since or whatnot. So as such, I think we can bring in this left back who is playing at Sheffield United in England. He's been playing at this level for whatever, for the under whatever the case. But I think the justification thing is quite straightforward. Rudolph Speed said he hasn't received any request for additional players, so we'll just take that at face value. There was another question asked as well, if Coach Wall was happy or was he disgruntled at the fact that he was reassigned. I think that question was a very strange question, if I'm to be honest with you, because any coach or any person passionate about football, if you're reassigned midway a project or midway a competition or midway whatever it is, you will be obviously dissatisfied, because as football players, as coaches, um, you always want to finish what you started. You saw Kevin De Bruyne on the weekend. He was hooked midway the game or early in the second half, some may say, based on what you call early. So he was hooked before the game finished, and we saw what his frustration was like. And that is the same for most coaches, most football lovers. If you are removed or replaced or reassigned midway, whatever the time span, whether it's a competition, whether it's a qualification, you're going to be unhappy. You're going to be dissatisfied because you want to see it through. You put the program together, you're working on something and you want to see the end product. Kind of like pulling you away from the oven midway, you baking a cake. Doesn't make any sense. Asking the baker if he or she is happy. All right, so that covers that. I think we had one more to discuss on here. Um, or do we? No. I think that's it. So the development of local players always key. The local core. We always consider having a core set of players that we build on each time. And as I said, the under 20 program will be pivotal in that. And if the Jamaica Football Federation is genuinely concerned about the development of football, then they should be, because the indications are that they are concerned about the development. They have a quota system in place, but then you go and you remove John Wall, who is the talent development, um, the FIFA talent development person from the under 20 setup. But again, they said he's responsible for talent development and needs to focus on that as well. So again, maybe it is too much work for one guy, but I still think he should have stayed with the under 20 program. That's me. Let's hear what you guys have to say on that. I think overall the Jamaica national team has a busy fixture, and Coach Hall Grimson took only 2 members of his backroom staff when he came to the national. Well, when he was hired to coach the national team, and obviously, John Wall was one of those, which meant he means a whole lot to Coach Holgrimson. Okay, so I want you guys to think about that and keep it in your head. Coach John Wall is very important to Jamaican football as things stand right now. But the question becomes, where would you prefer having him? In the national under 20 team, where we want to develop the next best crop of players who will replace the set that we currently have, or in the senior team, who is looking to qualify for the World Cup, to do well in the Copa America, and to win the Nations League. Which do you think is more important? Which do you think requires his attention more, especially in the immediacy? Those are questions that I'm putting out to you, the viewers and subscribers. I want you to let me know in the comment section. Share your thoughts on the whole reassigning of Coach Holgrimson and the reassigning as well, um, or the reinstatement, I should say, of Jerome Waite, who was formally reassigned. We want to hear your take. We want to hear your opinions. We want to hear your views. Leave them down in the comment section. And we can even go a step further on it. Do you think he was actually fired from the under 20 program? Does it make sense, the speculations that he was fired? Mind you, you can't be fired from something that you weren't being paid for. Uh, you're volunteering and you're being fired from volunteering work. Again, so many questions. But let's hear the take of you, the viewers and subscribers, because after all, we're here to hear it. Uh, as I always say, if everyone shared the same opinion, the world would be a very, very boring place. So we're trying to get the opinions of as much viewers and subscribers as possible. We're trying to hear what are your thoughts on the information that's currently being made public. We had Elite Sports last they spoke at length about it. We had interview with Rudolph Speed this morning where he came out to clarify some things in addition to the press release that was released by the Jamaica Football Federation attempting to clarify the situation. So again, so many moving parts, so many things floating around, but it's on us to basically pick from it what we make of it, or pick sense from nonsense, as my parents would say. Again, over to you, viewers, over to you, subscribers. Let's hear it in the comment section. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Halftime TV saying until next time. Peace out.